It's a DVD concept I started coming up with last year. I've actually recorded the first segment. I have pretty much everybody on my DVD. I got people that people have been dying to have on the DVD. I got, so it's featuring myself, Thomas Lane, Ricky Lawson, Aaron Spears, Jamal Moore, Greg Clark Jr., Chris Key, Gordon Campbell, Venezuela Joy. She's the female drummer that was on the MTV show with Diddy. I got her. I got another phenomenal girl drummer named Danielle Thompson. Who else am I missing? I know I'm missing. Oh, JP Bouvet, Jerome Flood. Jovan.
Yeah, that's
I'm really
great.
Excited. It's called Chops with Control because anyone that knows anything, I mean, I'm not trying to act like I'm Thomas Lang or anybody like you're supposed to know me right off the bat. But one thing that I'm really big on and what has gotten me to where I am, at least at my level, I would say Pocket, man, like what has been going on for a while, the Gospel Chops thing, the Shed Sessions, all that stuff is great.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's showcasing to the more the rocker metal guys and all the other people.
Sure.
What's been going on in mainstream for a while. And what I'm doing is that, see, the guy that produced that series, I'm pretty sure his intention was not for people to go crazy. His intention was to expose what these guys can do. But what I'm coming in to say is that, okay, that's great, but but realistically, if you're playing behind Beyonce, you can't do that.
Right.
If you're playing behind, whoever, you can't do that. And now there's a time and a place for it, but that's where Chops with Control kicks in.
Yes.
So all the guys on my DVD and women on my DVD are naturally that way. If you listen to any records that Gordon Campbell or any tours he's done, he's a very tasteful, colorful pocket drummer. The Jessica Simpson tour, American Idol, Destiny's Child, Beyonce, at that particular time. All tasteful. Thomas Lang, extremely tasteful.
Yeah.
All these guys get that. There's other guys that I could have had on my DVD, but I couldn't have them on my DVD because if I put them on there with the name Chops with Control, drummers will look at me like, he's not controlled, so why would you do that? And I'm being serious. Like, it's quite funny. Like, there's certain guys that I could have called at the drop of a dime, but I didn't because they're not controlled drummers. One of my biggest influences, and my mentor, Ricky Lawson, he's everybody knows who that is. The drummer for Michael Jackson, the Bad Tour, Dangerous Tour, every album, record you can ever pull up, Nita Baker, Stevie Wonder. I got to sit down with Ricky at a studio a couple of months ago in West Covina, California. Check out the studio. It's very, very nice. You need to record there. The tones he gets is crazy. But he gave me this concept that changed my life. I was already a controlled pocket drummer before I talked to Ricky, but when I was in the studio with him for like 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that, and I was just, it was him and Nathan Easton, the bass player for Foreplay, and Anita Baker and all them. He also played on We Are the World, We Are the Children. Like, them two was tracking for like 8 hours, just going at it, and he was talking, and Ricky said something to me that just really just opened up my eyes even more. He told me, I'm like, Ricky, you're like one of the most recorded drummers, just period. Technically, you pretty much are. Between him and J.R., Robinson and Ndugu, I think those are probably your 3 most recorded drummers you can possibly find. And he said, when you're playing these records, and even when you're playing live, he says, if you can't get bored, if you have issues getting bored on the drums, you ain't gonna make it. And that opened up my eyes. And what he was referring to is, he was saying that if you can't play that 2 and that 4, or whatever it is, that 6 and that 8, or whatever it is, and not get bored, then you're good. Because if you can keep that the whole time, if it calls for that, that shows where you're at. And if you listen to all these major records he's on, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, and all these major records. This man is making all this money playing Tasteful Pocket.
Yes.
He doesn't. When Ricky plays, he doesn't have an urge to. He doesn't have that urge to do that. And when he said that, I was like, that's it. That explains his success. Black and white. So
that's interesting.
So
that's a great, really clear approach and way to look at it. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, totally.
So if you can do if you're gonna just do a shout out, just a quick in 2 minutes or 1 minute, tell people why they should why the KickPort will help them. We get a lot of people and they're like, wow, I feel like I sound better when I play it, and when I sound better, I feel better, and I really like it, acoustically or mics. I mean, there's always going to be people that are resistant to new things, or they don't give it the time, or we all know that. But if you were going to just give me a minute, or just like tell drummers how you think it helps, that would be really cool.
Well, I'm going to start with live first. When you're playing live, man, if you guys like that low end sound, like some people like the little punch, but most drummers I know in the world like the low end. If you like that low end, the KickPort is where it's at. Because I'm telling you, the way to really test it, don't mic it. Just put it in and just play with it in sound check, and you'll hear the difference without the microphone, just from the sub alone. Recording wise, out of this world. You have like 1,000 more options in the studio with a KickPort than you do live. You can drill. I don't know if you guys have done this, but you can drill 2 holes. You can put 2 holes in your kit and put 2 KickPorts in there. I don't know. Have you tried that, Jesse?
Yeah, actually, I just did a little video because we're doing a Tama. There's a Tama KickPort promotion right now for their Silver Stars that's out there in the country right now. And our video, Courtney DeAugustine, who's a drummer, actually a really good drummer. She's working with KickPort, but she has 2 KickPorts in there. So yes, actually.
Oh my goodness! If you talking about a world of boom,
yeah.
Put 2 in there. Oh man! And then put like a standard kick mic in one, and put a tweeter or not a tweeter, but like a smaller condenser mic in the other one.
Oh, interesting.
You'll get, I'm a geek, so you get different tones like no other. So I'm telling you, if you like that low end kick and you like to feel the boom, even when you're not even in an arena, because let's say you're not playing in an arena that night or that day or ever, or period. I should say period, or whatever. You're going to feel that. Because through the PA systems and everything, even if it's not the big staple center speakers, you're going to feel that low end. And you got to get it. Dude, is there an artist that KickPort doesn't endorse right now?
Well, some of them, yeah, there's some, and there's some that where it's, I think, some of it has to do with, well, first of all, it's a tool. And if you get a new tool, some people are going to be resistant to a new tool. So there's that. And then there's when they, put a KickPort in, then you probably want to start adjusting your tuning a little bit and start, playing around with it to get the most out of it. So there are people that, and then there are that are engineers. We've had a lot of resistant engineers. We have engineers that absolutely love it, like Grammy-winning engineers that go, man, this thing's killer and I love it. But we have people that, oh, well, I don't, old school, or they have their ways, and it's like, hey, I just don't need this thing. So it's interesting. Gordon Campbell is a guy, actually a KickPort artist. And you mentioned Gordon, and we just sent him a couple of KickPorts for the Idol tour, but anyway, we have a lot of different kinds of people, but there are people that for whatever reason aren't into it. What kind of heads do you run?
I'm a Remo guy.
Okay. So, what's your head combination?
My head pinstripe is my main. I run pinstripes on the top, ambassadors on the bottom. I use the PowerStroke Pro now on the kick. I used to use the PowerStroke 3. That's old school, but I use the PowerShell Pro 4 on the kick, and then just the standard. I think it's an Emperor or Ambassador on the back, and then then I put the hole in it.
Got it. Got it. Any tuning things? Any special when you put the KickPort in? Did you play around with tuning? Any special things that you do with that? How it changes it, or?
You know what? This is funny. Actually, no, I didn't have to. That's my point.
Okay.
Like, because I'm actually the guy that tunes his bass drum. A lot of drummers don't tune their bass drum. They just, as long as it's tightened somewhat, they just play it. And if you notice, there's sometimes some guys have different reasons for this. Have you ever seen a major show, but then you see wrinkles in the back of the bass drum on a major tour? Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, sir.
And you be like, why is it is? There's two reasons for that. Some guys use it as a technique because they like it to be slightly looser to give, because they feel like that gives them more of a low end, which that's true to a certain extent. I don't know the technology of it or why that is, but that is true. If you loosen it a little bit, it actually gives you a little bit of a lower end for whatever wood reason. I guess you'd have to talk to John Good, the wood guru, about that, but I don't know, why that is. But some guys do that because they don't tune their bass drum. They just take it as is, and they just go wherever. In my case, I actually am a guy that actually tunes bass drums. But with the KickPort, I don't. I just put it in, and it's going to give me that sub sound. Now, I would assume if I tuned it up higher, like if I had an 18 or something, an 18 bass drum, and I was, going for that more Elvin Jones sound, I'm actually curious what it would do to it. Because, I mean, it's a smaller one. It's probably going to give it a low end without. Because one thing I don't like about 18-inch bass drums, even if I'm going to do some jazz, I don't like the floor tom sound. I don't like that. So I would probably put the KickPort in there because I'm pretty sure it will give me that balanced tone I would want. As if I was playing a 22 or a 20.
We have a lot of people using the KickPort in even 16s, 18s, and they get a lot of low end out of it. And it really helps them. So the tuning of the bass drum is always a thing, and when the KickPort's in there, generally you have to tune just a little bit higher than you'd have it if it's not there, but it's still going to add the low end. It's got a lot of low end. Yeah. Well, that's really that's great. No, this is great stuff.
All right, cool. And what I can do is, because my DVD's not done yet, but what I can do is I can send you. I did a little rough trailer that's on YouTube right now. You can actually pull it up. You can just type in Jovan Dawkins in YouTube, or you can type in Chops with Control.
Okay.
It'll pop up immediately, and you can actually put that on the side or whatever, because that's actually that on that particular clip. It has JP on it. It has Greg Clark and Chris Key on those particular trailers, but that's only 3 of the drummers that's on the thing. But you can use it as promotion, saying coming soon or whatever, and then because we're finishing the recording of that this year.
Okay.
So that project should be done in the end of November as well.
All right. Well, that's what I'll do, and I gotta get rolling. Thank you so much for spending the time with me here. It's
no problem,
very
man.
kind
No
of
problem.
you, and congratulations on all the cool stuff you're doing. You're a great guy and a great talent, and I really wish you all the great success that you deserve, and you're already doing it, so it's killer. We love it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I love the KickPort, man.
Okay.
I live it.
I will talk to you later, and you have a great day.